Racing wheels are expensive, like they can be stupidly expensive. And I'm on a mission to prove that you don't need a huge budget to get into sim racing. I've already bought 3 budget wheels on this channel, all under £100, but today, the budget has ripened. I've been using my £100 Thrustmaster T150 for a few months now, and although I am still terrible at racing games, it's been a lot of fun, and I want more. So to complete the budget wheel saga for now, I've set myself a £200 budget to find the best wheel I can for the money. So you can generally split wheels up into a few distinct sections. The sub £100 new is the Avoid. These are your T80s or your random bits of cheap plastic that offer absolutely nothing but an empty space in your wallet. Coming from experience, I recommend you avoid these at all costs. Then we've got the mid-range. These are the wheels that everyone buys. This is basically your Logitech G29 and your Thrustmaster T150. These can go for about £250. Then moving up in price slightly, you can start to see wheels such as the Thrustmaster T300 or some entry-level direct drive from companies like Moser. These can range anywhere from £300 to £500 depending on what you're buying. And then right at the tippity top of the iceberg, we've got the proper high-end wheels which cost extortionate amounts, like thousands of pounds. You could literally go out and buy a real car and take it racing for the price of some of these wheels. But for this video, I'm going to be focusing my efforts in the £300 to £500 range. And I know what you're thinking, if your budget is £200, how are you affording a £300 to £500 wheel? By not buying them new? I talk about it a lot, and for good reason. It's totally underrated. You can get some insane deals and get equipment that's far better for your budget, but out of the few options, there's only really one wheel that suits my needs and my budget, the Thrustmaster T300. I'll talk about why I chose this in a bit, but first, we need to buy one. And before I do that, remember to subscribe to the channel. I'm really focusing on improving my content with every video, which I hope is clear to see, so, enjoy. In my last videos, I've had people commenting saying, "Oh, I don't believe you bought it at that price. This video must be fake." So for this one, I'm going to take you along with me to prove, that I'm buying it. The site I usually use for buying stuff is actually Vinted. Prices there are insanely low, as it's mostly just people trying to get rid of their old stuff and they never know the value. Plus, I've sold a lot of stuff on there, a lot. And I've been scammed. I bought a fake Xbox once, that was tragic. So I know how it all works. What I did was search in the simple term Thrustmaster T300. The choice wasn't huge, it was basically just a couple of rims and a few listings of full cockpits, but one stood out to me, a boxed T300 GT RS, but it came with one of those seats which I didn't really want, and it also had that dreaded line in the description, collection only, and I can't really collect stuff because, I'm not driving some rando's house, so I dropped him a message. I basically asked if he could just sell me the box wheel set without the seat and post it to me. He responded with an offer at $215, which is okay, but not exactly where I want to be. It's a bit over budget, so I knew I'd have to conjure up a negotiation masterclass. Lucky for me, I'm quite good at that. I wanted to buy at $190, so I asked if he could go to $180. He moved to $200, and I pretend to think about it, and I let him hang for a bit. Big brain tactics, I know. But then he came back to me and asked if I wanted to do a bank transfer, which is really dodgy. Alarm bells were ringing in my head. Is this guy a scammer? Is this guy legit? So I did a bit of investigation, looked into his profile. He seemed legit. He had reviews, he had real followers. Plus I found his eBay, which also seemed legit. So, I trusted his words. I asked if he could meet at $185, and he played into my hands. He offered $190, and that's where I bought. In total, after shipping, I paid £204 for this thing, so I'm slightly over budget, but I'd say we're close enough. Now, we have to wait for it to arrive. And a few days later, it was here, and I hadn't been scammed, and I could now unbox and get to testing. My first impression out the box was everything just seemed quality. The weight and the materials used, it actually feels like a piece of equipment and less like a toy. The box comes with the wheelbase, a clamp, a Gran Turismo branded rim, and a set of T3PA pedals. If you're subscribed, you may remember that I actually bought a set of these pedals with my T150, so the ones from this box are going straight onto eBay, as I have absolutely no use for them. I can probably get at least 50 quid for these, so that's nice. After setting it all up, I could finally give it a proper look over and a test. As usual with these wheels, all the buttons you'd usually find on a controller can be found on here. There's a nice little line at the top, so you can, see if it's the right way up, if you, aren't looking. But for the most part, everything is laid out similarly to other wheels and, basically the same as the T150. But the big difference between the wheels, of course, is the power of the T300. I was playing Assetto Corsa on this thing, and on some of these high-powered cars, it was genuinely a struggle to keep control if I wasn't wasn't concentrating. It feels as though you are actually in control as the car fights back when you turn, and the tension of the wheel responds differently to different grip and on different surfaces, you know, if it's raining, dry, dirt, asphalt, anything, it just feels different. Plus, the force feedback is a lot more smooth and fast. I mean, you can see how quick this rotates in comparison to the cheaper wheels. It means that in the future I can finally try things out like drifting, because it means you can do the transitions, but that's a video for the future. Another standout point for the T300 is the detachable rim. Now, all high-end wheels offer quick release systems, and so does this, although, I mean, it's not that quick. Let me just show you. So first, you have to get out your heavy-duty screwdriver to undo this bolt that tightens the wheel. It's actually quite time-consuming. Then you need to spin and pull this plastic thing at the same time to release the wheel before it just pops out. Not so difficult, but, you know, it takes a bit of effort. Not to mention the annoyance of having to reattach the rim. Like, it genuinely took me minutes. It was, oh god. But the fact you can swap out rims means you can get proper wheels for the cars you're driving. And it also means you can give away even more of your money. So that's, you know, great. More money, just gone, just fading away. Thrustmaster sells quite a few, including F1 wheels, rally, vintage, and more. Some are, you know, pretty expensive, as in more than I paid for the entire wheel and pedals, but a lot of them are really cool. I'm fighting against the urge to get the F1 wheel, but a part of me knows that, you know, that might just happen soon. I've said it before, but Thrustmaster has one of the best ecosystems, especially if you're on a budget. Plus, it works with PlayStation, which was the most important part of my decision. Like, in the future, I can imagine myself getting a handbrake, getting a shifter, getting some new rims for this thing. Like, it'll be crazy. So now I've seen the wheel, I've looked over it, I found out how terrible the quick release system is. I thought I'd give it a quick test. Right, the one and only place to properly test out this wheel. I'm in a Porsche Cayman, we're on the Nurburgring, just gonna sort of see what happens. Especially on these high power cars, the tension you get in the wheel is sort of like, it's proper. Sorry, excuse the racing, it's absolutely atrocious. Just see what I mean? I'm not even touching it right now, we're just moving about. See the feedback it gives. Come on, there we go. The feedback on this thing is just smooth. It's just silky smooth. It's not notchy, it's not sort of like gear-like, it's just... That's what you get from belt driven, honestly. It's much easier to feel when the car's sort of getting out of control as well. Like, you can predict a spin much sooner. As I said, the wheel's always tense. It's not like just tense when you're doing something. There's just always tension there. So when you're sort of starting to lose it, it's really easy to know. Oh! Okay. Oh my god. Come on, buddy. Can we just shift it a bit, please? Thank you. But I think you get the impression. I think you get what I'm saying.
A few moments later.
Okay, test over. Let's move on. So in conclusion, what do I think of the T300? It's pretty good, as in, like, really good. I didn't think the step up from T150 to T300 would be so big, but it really is. The T150 is going straight onto eBay. That's all for this video. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.